would thought 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
We are now recording.
I do appreciate that reminder, because
Anyway,
it
time
even
to-
said it on my calendar, the gospel,
Welcome, Jennifer.
which
Thank
hadn't
you,
been.
because I had it set for 7.
Jennifer, you're welcome.
Yeah, Mr.
We ready to go,
President,
folks?
ask me what time.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this special call meeting on Monday, March 27 at 6:30 to order. We have 3 items on the agenda, gentlemen. I'm going to rearrange them some. Ms. Wanda Epps has asked for her rezoning conditional use to be first, and I'll turn this over to the manager.
Very quickly, we have in front of you, this is actually a conditional rezoning. Both items tonight are conditional rezonings, and both are for the same purpose. Ms. Epps owns 2 pieces of property. One is an unoccupied dwelling. You're not living there, right? At your mama's house? Okay. You still living on Gravette Avenue? Yes, ma'am. Her mother's house is on North Main Street, along with
We just started, Ms. Williams.
Thank you.
Ms. Epps is requesting right now to rezone 2 parcels from the business general district to the R3 residential district, and there's these lots right here. Up on the very north end of town, almost at the
9:57.
957 Health or Fitness Center, okay? And there's 1 parcel in between hers and that fitness center, and it's a small piece of property. If you remember, we tore a house down there 2 or 3 years ago on that particular parcel. Some ladies that actually live up in New York and paying us back to tear the house down. But currently, the property is owned business general. In order for somebody to place a manufactured home in the town of Blackstone, it's supposed to be in the R3 district. Okay, certain other spots here. All right. A single wide manufactured home also has to go in that same district, but it has to be in a park. And there's a definition for manufactured home park. So just like you would envision down in Florida with but it pretty stringent requirements because it requires paved roads and water and sewer and all that kind of thing. This is a request for 2 parcels. The reason we brought them both to you because her mom's house is currently also non-conforming because it's in a business district without a conditional use permit and it's a single family home. So we brought both to you, one to clean up her mom and the other one would enable Miss Epps to place a double wide manufactured home which is only currently permitted in the R3 district. Planning Commission did consider the request and Wanda and I have worked together off and on for probably a year, talking about houses and different manufacturers and things. And originally, Wanda brought to me a modular home. And I think we talked a little bit about double wide manufactured homes and modular homes. They look an awful lot alike, but the prices are dramatically different. These double wide manufactured homes are being sold now for the same per square foot cost that we were building homes 14 years ago when I was with F&P Land and Timber. That's how much housing construction costs have dramatically increased. So I think Wanda realized what a modular home cost was and came back and said, this is something I'm going to ask the town to do so I can put a manufactured home, which is appreciably less expensive. And both parties can probably tell you the difference in cost between them. But in order for her to do that, we need to have some zoning action. And I also remind you that the Planning Commission did have a condition for these types of requests, and we looked at the same requests that were done on Center Street and one on Boswell, which both were familiar, where double wide manufactured homes were being placed, and it was that it was for a single family home only. And it doesn't describe, can't be a trailer, because that has to be in a park, so it could be a double wide, or she changed her mind, went back to modular, or decided that she wanted to go, which 2 years from now, she couldn't change her mind and decide, I'm gonna put a multifamily unit goes for single family only, and that would be the one property.
And they voted 5-0, is that correct?
Was everybody here? Mike didn't,
Yeah,
wasn't absent or
it was
something, but
5-0.
unanimous for the-
It was 5-0.
If memory serves me, Philip, if that house was directly across the street, it would be out of the town limits, and we wouldn't be talking about a permit, is that
You may
correct?
be able to put a single wide manufactured home across the street, yeah, but it's, the town limits, as you can see, follow Main Street. Once you get up to that point, you know the old Spring Hill Road, the old bridge? From that point going out of town, the town is only on the left-hand side of Main street. Those homes that are on the right-hand side are actually in the county. You can wait until if you're in the county or not, one of those brown stobs with the address, you got a brown stub in front of it, it's in the county.
I grossly got out in front of this now, okay, so I'm opening it now, I'm gonna open the public hearing, and then, then we'll take questions from members of council, is that okay? So I'm officially opening the public hearing on Miss Epps' property. Is there anyone that would like to come to the podium and speak for this proposal? Is there anyone that would like to speak against this proposal?
Do I have to come to the podium? I'm for it,
Yes, ma'am? You want to speak against it?
for it. I'm
Okay,
for it.
all right. That is up to you, and normally I would ask, but certainly make an exception.
And what is your name?
Gladys Young, I just don't like
Okay.
speaking.
And you got one of the letters that I sent to the adjoining property.
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what would your comments be, ma'am?
Oh, I live across, my property is across the street from Wanda. And it wouldn't deter anything for me if she was to put it over there.
Okay. For those,
I'd like for her to do it.
ma'am?
I would like for her to.
Okay.
do it.
So, for those that couldn't hear it on tape, you're a neighbor across the street, and you think it would be good for the community, and you have no issue with it, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, did I speak well enough for you?
Yes, you did.
All right, is there any other comments for or against? Hearing none, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Members of council, do you have any questions for the manager?
Voting, at this point, I guess we're just still discussing it. We're not,
Yes, we are. Don't have a motion yet.
one, it's not separated, the house being,
That'll be on one parcel, and the new home would be on the second parcel.
I mean, the house that's already existing, it is being reconditioned and remodeled.
Well, I don't know what your plans are with your mama's house.
Is that what you were saying?
It's for right now, I'm just gonna let it sit there until I decide if I'm renting or not.
Oh, it's,
So it's in good shape to rent now, huh?
Possibility.
You may need a coat of paint or something like that, but I don't know of any structural deficiency at the house or anything like that that I'm aware of. Did I answer your question? Kinda.
Were you asking for voting on these separate or together?
We're gonna do it separate.
well, I mean, those two, the two requests there are gonna be done.
I only advertised one request.
We'll do one at a time. We're doing Miss Epps now.
No, I mean, it sounded like there's two requests, one to be
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
grandfathered
Okay.
in and one for a new construction, correct? I guess it's the same request.
It's all about zoning. and it's-
Ultimately, it's the same goal, so they can put a double wide manufactured on there. The conditions on the parcels are a little different, the zoning is a little different, that's all. But I think both parties want to get to the same place, which is a conditional rezoning to R3 so they can put a double wide manufactured home.
Would this particular one be taxed as a real estate or personal property tax?
Well, I have not had that, I know the answer from Mr. Keller's, but I don't know, are you gonna put a permanent foundation under it? Had you planned on that?
I think
Had you talked to
so.
the,
I haven't talked to him yet, but yeah.
I don't think it's been committed that it would be taxes are cheaper if you put it on a foundation.
Okay.
He knows that. Because if it's on frame,
Right.
okay, and just on skirting, it's taxed as if it were a car, so your tax rate's a lot higher
Okay.
than it would be if it's real estate. Just for your purposes, some communities do require it on permanent foundation, but that commitment hadn't been made in any form or fashion. I know Mr. Keller intends on doing that, but I have not had a conversation with Wanda.
Miss Epps, are you gonna make that commitment today?
You can put it on a foundation? Okay, there you go.
Any other questions, council? I'd entertain a motion to approve this request.
I'll make a motion that we approve this request.
With two conditions. One, for single family only, and two, put on foundation. You
Does
okay
that
with
agree
that?
with you, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Miller has moved. Is there a second?
I'm sorry.
Second.
Go ahead.
Ms. Williams, second. I ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Page.
Aye.
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 Nay.
Motion carries 3-2. All right, next item on the agenda is Mr. Keller's residence. And I'll open a public hearing for that, and we'll start with your comments.
A little different on the existing conditions, but very similar in
I don't like
the
reducing
requested outcome.
I don't like reducing zoning.
Hold on just a minute. Y'all straight?
Yeah.
It's nothing personal, I just don't
Okay.
like reducing zoning.
If we go down here on Forest Drive, where we at, Forest Drive, it is in the R2 zoning district. And I'm pointing to the particular lot, but it's in the green area, green shaded area, which is R2. And you can see that's kind of the predominant residential zoning in town, okay? Same sort of request, he's asking that the property be conditionally rezoned to the R3 district to permit a double-wide manufactured home for your son, if I'm not mistaken. It's a separate parcel from the one that he lives on, okay? The different condition is, one, the zoning is a little different. However, there was a single-wide manufactured home on that parcel 4 years ago.
Well, I'll speak after you finish.
Okay, there was a single-wide mobile home on that property, which was removed. By code and by town ordinance, everybody's entitled to a 2-year grandfather or non-conforming activity. If you have a non-conforming activity and you replace it, such as on Northwest Avenue, Aaron Somerville had a single-wide mobile home. He tore it down and replaced it with a double-wide, and Aaron lives in the exact same zoning district that Mr. Keller is making this request for. If Mr. Keller had removed that single-wide and we had not eclipsed 2 years, I would be obligated to give him a permit without this process for the double-wide, or for the double-wide manufactured home. So there are some differences in conditions and that sort of thing, but, again, for a double-wide manufactured home to go on a separate parcel. And planning commission also would like to see it only for single-family homes, so something can't change in the future and a permit be given for multifamily of any kind. Okay?
Was it zoned as it is now when the single wide was there?
Well, this zoning went into place in 1992, so I bet the
So it was,
single-wide probably predates that.
It predates that.
yeah, but I mean, after the single wide was removed, was it rezoned to be what it is?
No, it had already been zoned in that form and fashion. It was a grandfathered or a non-conforming activity, the single-wide was.
It was grandfather.
And so we can't take, when we change zoning,
Right.
so it continues, and there's still some single wides around town, there's one over on MacArthur Drive, if I'm not mistaken. So when the town took the property in 92, the single wide was legal. When we took it in, we declared it to be non-conforming or grandfathered because we put that zoning on it.
Do we know what,
And I say you took it in, when the town did a comprehensive rezoning of the entire town in 1992.
do we know what year that single wide was actually put in at all?
Can I answer those questions?
Oh, yeah. We'll wait till then.
I think the presentation is there. You've also, I'm gonna get it wrong, Richard, but I think you've already got your water connection or sewer connection? Sewer connection's there, not water, so, there's already a sewer connection serving the,
All right.
Serving the
Can we
previous owner.
hear from the public, and then if you,
Absolutely.
council has any questions, then you'll be glad to answer them. Mr. Keller, will you come to the podium, please? And I can tell you, Mr. Keller is for this proposal, okay, if you were wondering.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I bought my property on Forest Drive in 1994. I think it was annexed by the town in 92. It was a part of the county until 92. When I bought it, there were there's two mobile homes. One of them on the first 4 lots I bought, and one on the 2 lots that I purchased 5 years ago. The one that on the lots that I bought to start with, I moved as soon as I possibly could get it moved, and I did that for the neighbors.
Which I was one of.
And you were one of them at that time, yes, sir. I bought the other 2 lots about 5 years ago. Again, this mobile home has been there since about 1972, and it was rough. It's one that Michael Wynn lived in. Y'all remember Blackie, the one that's missing? He lived there for a long time. I moved it. Got a guy to come tow it away, just gave it to him. Had I left it there, I wouldn't be here before y'all. But people have been looking at it for the last 5 years. We have tried every way possible to buy a home, find a home that he could afford. We looked at modular, of course. Again, they're out of sight. And this is going to be the only possibility to get him a home he can afford. They've got a 4-year-old. He inherited the 4-year-old when he got married a year and a half ago. They're expecting twins in July, so he's got to have a house to live in. So I would please ask y'all to consider that. I know you don't like rezoning, but sometimes it's got to be done. Like I said, if I'd left the thing there, I wouldn't even be here before y'all.
I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say, that I lived there at that time.
Yes, you
And the
did.
improvements that you made on Forest Drive, I think it brought value to the neighborhood, and it surely made my drive home much more favorable.
Well,
So I appreciate what you did.
Ms.
in that
Williams
area.
has gone through this stuff too. She knows what these houses look like. If none of y'all have looked at it, I was shocked when I was against him doing it till I went and looked at them. And it's as nice or nicer than my house, and my house is one of the nice ones on Forest Drive. So it's just something that we need to do if possible. I hope y'all will consider it.
Do
Thank
y'all
you.
have any questions for Mr. Keller?
And yes, it's going to be on foundation.
Foundation.
I mean, that was the first thing we asked about, because I knew about this personal property tax, and on that big of a purchase, you couldn't afford to pay personal property tax on it. So it's got to be done to real estate.
Do we know the last time this particular property was on town utilities? It's been a long time, hasn't it?
No, 5 years.
About 5 years.
It had all the property on that side of the street, mine included. I've got 6 lots. I have 3 wells.
Okay.
2 of them I can't use, and well, of course, they unhooked that one when the trailer was moved. So I've got hooked back to town water, but the sewer connection's already there. I'm on town sewer, I still use my well, and as long as it's working, I'm gonna use it. But,
For a new home, we want,
Yeah.
town's
Well-
ordinance says within a certain number of feet, you're supposed to be on the town water and sewer system.
yeah, it has to go on the water and sewer, but the sewer connection's already there, we gotta do a water tap and meter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for manager of Norfolk? You wanna summarize what the planning commission's?
Planning Commission approved it. I think Mr. Keller had spoken to me about the permanent foundation previously, so I was pretty sure that's what he was gonna do. But again, same type of condition. It's for single family only and not years down the road. By blanket rezoning this to an R3, you're not creating a situation where it'll be anything other than a single family home, including a double wide. And he would be within. He could ask for a duplex, and I would have already given him a zoning permit, because in the R2, a duplex is a permissible use, but a single or a double wide manufactured home is not a permissible use. So yes, it could have been a duplex, as long as it's 14,000 square feet, and I assume it is. I don't know, but 14,000 for the 2 units. The size of lot has to be 14,000 square feet in order to do a duplex in there. And then 20,000 square feet, so did you do it? In fact, and I will get deeper in the zoning ordinance, he would be within right to do a townhouse development. You have enough square footage. It couldn't just be a duplex. You could probably get 3 or 4 or 5 townhouses on that property because of the size. So, is a zoning ordinance always right? This may be one of those things where it's a kind of, well, why is the double wide not permissible when you can do multifamily, or not multifamily, but you can do a townhouse? And for those of you who are new, a townhouse is not multifamily if the units are side by side. It only becomes multifamily when it's one above the other. Okay? So a townhouse, for example, if you go down Oak Street, Frankie Williamson built some townhouses, those brick ones that are kind of pushed into the side that don't face the street. Those are actually townhouses, and they're not multifamily apartments, believe it or not, by our zoning ordinance. And with the amount of square footage he has, he could probably get, I think it's up to 8 units in a line that you're allowed to have, and you probably get more than that. So he would be within his right to have asked me to put in a 4-unit townhouse development, and I believe it would have been by right because of the size of the lot.
I do have a few more questions for the mayor, if you don't, I mean, for the town manager, if you don't mind.
Is there any more delegations from the public that would like to speak? None heard. I'll close the public hearing now, then we'll hear from Councilman Page.
And this one's a little different. The other property was a little more rural, so I have a few more questions on this. You said the lot size is large. Do you know the particular acreage of the lot itself?
So he said it was 200 by 100, so it's 20
deep, about 100 feet wide.
Okay. How
that's-
far back off the,
20,000 square feet, so you know, and an acre's 43,000, so little less than a half acre.
and how far back off the roadway will this mobile home be?
It'll be back as far as my house is from the road.
Okay, I got you.
And if you're talking about more rural, I can throw a rock to the county line from my place too.
I got you.
It would require a 35-foot setback or in line with the adjacent house.
5 foot.
And I think if you go by there, there's a tree line. It'll be just within that tree line, I think.
It's gonna be
One more and what I'm gathering, your intention is to try to make it look like a regular home, is that right? I mean, as best as you can, or, I
The
mean,
way they build them now, they are like regular homes.
Yeah,
The only
yeah.
thing that isn't is the pitch of the roof, that's the only difference.
okay,
You looked at the house, you can order these things now with a 412 pitch, but it costs more, we don't have time to do that, so we're gonna have to take what we got.
right, okay.
But that, if I put the 412 pitch on it, put the foundation on it, you wouldn't know it unless you went, started inspecting everything.
Gotcha,
The only difference is building code standard.
right, okay.
And a lot of modulars look just like a manufactured home because of roof pitch, and in fact, there's modulars in Blackstone that you would swear are double wide, but they have a different plate on the frame.
They make modular single wide now, by the way.
Right.
Do they? I don't know.
Yeah, I put one.
I've seen some of these houses where they look like a regular house. They got like some brick bay around the front, like where skirting would be. Kind of goes all the way around.
Block foundation on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was approved unanimously by the
$8,000
planning commission. Or recommended unanimously.
Ms. Quinn, do you have any questions? For the manager? Good, okay. Anybody else have any questions for the manager? All right, I'd entertain a motion for approval.
I think that, based on what we heard tonight and, previous action with Wanda's request, I think a motion for approval would be appropriate.
I was going to ask you a
Recommended.
recommendation.
Make a motion.
I'll make that move.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Page has moved and Ms. Williams has seconded. I'll start with a roll call vote with Ms. Wynn.
Because I'm not sure what I'm voting on, I abstain.
Very well.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries 3-2. All right, Mr. Keller?
Which thing would be favorable?
The last item, let's see here. The last item tonight is the regular council meeting minutes. You have those in front of you.
They are not, I'm sorry, I didn't print all that for the.
Okay, well, this is a mighty big package, I assumed, and yes, you know what happens. So, we received them by email earlier today. Do we have anybody has any questions or corrections?
They look good to me. I browsed them.
Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion. Approve.
Mr. Gormas has made a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Miller has second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nope.
All right, and we're done, right? Doesn't matter if you got anything or not.
Unless you have any questions
If
about
you have any
zoning?
questions about zoning or minutes, then I'm gonna call this meeting adjourned at 6:50, ma'am.
Yeah.
I was just asking for the signature sheet.
Okay,
56, is that what you said?
6:56.
It wasn't
All right,
used
that's
to
it.
do.